Oh, wasabi gangsters, I'm back. Another week, another update. We're starting with reading today. For those of you who have missed me starting with reading, we're going to start here today. We're going to actually start with something I haven't started with in a long time. Actually, I haven't gotten to in a long time. And that is Berserk. We're going to talk a little bit about my journey through Berserk today to start off. We're on volume 8 of the big puppy here. And I believe that's volume technically 22 is the beginning of this. I'm on the Evil Holy War chapter. And okay, some stuff went down. So I'm going to do spoilers. I actually will make more of an effort to put some timestamps on this puppy because I think that the spoilers up to this point are going to play a pretty big role in my journey on this. So you guys can just skip ahead to the rest of the video after the spoilers for Berserk. So from here on out, for probably the next 2 to 3 minutes, we're going to go Berserk spoilers. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Now we have a return of Griffith in a moment that I didn't expect to see, where we have Casca and Guts going back to Reichert and Erica to Godo's cave in his region where he's at, and they have that the sword graveyard, and they meet there. Guts has a battle with Zod, a fight with Zod, and first of all, badass, as I always say about Guts, and the the emotional moment of him seeing Griffith for the first time in this form too, in its human form, and it's actually eye-opening to the story as a whole because now we're seeing what has become of Griffith. And was I saying Griffin that whole time? Wow. What has become of Griffith and what the man that he is. And that's a line from one of the panels. And by the way, I love this edition. I don't know if I don't remember. I probably should have checked, but they have like these beautiful poster panels that you can like fold out in here that are absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I don't know. I'm loving this arc so far. It started off with Heater, and we sort of have this interesting moment between Griffith and Casca where he holds her for a second and then lets go. And my interpretation is that Griffith is trying to see if there's still human emotion inside of him, if it would stand above his desire to own a kingdom. And it seems that that's not something that affected him greatly. It seems that him going away on Zod was the moment of, all right, like, yeah, I'm cool. I don't need these humans. Like I'm shooting for something greater. These people mean nothing to me, which I know we get in the very beginning of the Black Swordsman arc. So we're here now. We're in the Holy War chapter. I will be trying to get to this more regularly in the future. So if you guys are interested in following along with my Berserk journey, let me know. I am considering doing a separate video of this from my weekly updates. Let me know if that's something that interests you. If you're here just for Berserk, I would consider it if there's enough people here for just that. Otherwise, I'm going to just keep it into these videos with my reading, writing updates and do these spoiler bits. But yeah, I like where we're headed. I like that we are going to see Puck's home now. I at least believe that's where they're on their way. And it was interesting seeing the moment between Guts and Reichert conversing, and you don't really see it, but Guts essentially tells him what Griffith did to Casca and to the entire Band of the Hawk. And it's just a pretty emotional moment to realize the burden he'd been carrying and the endurance that Guts has from his suffering, not just from combat and fighting, everybody, but just in general, the emotional endurance that he's had to have for not just Casca, but for himself and for him to keep on his journey. And it's really cool to see these sorts of themes take place. There's some ducks on the roof outside. That's distracting. And I'm talking about Guts. Well, ducks and guts. Welcome to the video. All right, I'm going to continue with my reading journey, guys. So, oh crap! Actually, real quick, don't mind my butt. I got a massive book haul actually, but we're gonna talk about what I finished reading. Oh, I got another book outside. There's gonna be no edit in this, so you guys are just gonna experience this as is. So, A Fool's Hope, finished it, and I liked it. There was a part in the middle that we got into a bit of a trope that you see in other genres, and this is my thing. I think my first time seeing it in fantasy, and it was about as it wasn't really subverted in any way. The experience that we get and the characters that I'm attached to, I loved, so that made it fine. The I guess predictability of the trope kind of made it less enjoyable in that way. But the story and where it's going, I'm still loving The Last War. I love the writing that I love Mike Shackle's writing, and I love the world that these characters are living in. And I love the characters that we get to experience, and we see their change from book one. I mean, some of it is monumental. Some of it is, we have a total 180 for some of these characters, and it feels like most of these characters have had a 180, and then we've just had some maturity from others. And then we get some unexpected. I don't want to ruin anything. So we get some unexpected arcs from characters. If you're into subversions of character arcs and I guess vast changes between character from point A to point B, Mike Shackle does it really well. And I think there was a lot of people that would find this book and this series amazing. I did like book one better, if you're wondering. Don't know if you are. But I did like book one better, but A Fool's Hope was good. I cannot wait to talk about it with the Red Company, spoiler-free and spoiler review. That will be on May 16th. It'll be either on my channel or Alex's. We haven't talked about it, but Alex from Iskandaria, actually we have talked about it. I just don't remember. Jake from Nerd Level Rising and Chris from Beauty Book Beast. So as I'm actually talking about them, let's talk about Preacher Reads and the Book Street Boys Discord that he put together. All right, come and vibe and hang out, because we're chatting over there, and I will leave that link is always in my description of my videos, but we can vibe in the general conversation chat over there. And you guys are going to listen to me talk while I walk out of the room for 3 seconds and grab the Prophet of Edan that is sitting on my couch. Don't mind me, guys. Hey, let's make sure you guys don't see anything back out here. Okay, hold on. I'm hoping that this microphone's still connected. Not a big deal. It's colder out here. I wonder if those ducks are still on the roof. All right, guys, we're back. That was the longest journey we've ever taken together. How's it feel? Ducks are still there. So I am up to about $1.60 in this puppy. I'm up to chapter 7 in Prophet of Edan. I got my Orvindil chapter, and let me tell you, Orvindil is my favorite character. He's a Thoft. I actually don't know how to pronounce the name of the race, and if I was reading it right now, I'd probably be able to tell you. But I don't know if I'd get it right. Philip has crafted a fantastic world. The violence that he writes is so visceral, and I'm going to use the word straight and forward. It's very straightforward, but the construction of you witnessing the violence it's so plain in a very wonderful, beautiful way. Like, it's very visceral. It's like, this is what it is, and this is what you're seeing, and it's like, wow. Like, I literally had a moment as I was reading where my eyes were like, in this most recent chapter I just put down, and he started The Way of Edan like that for me. And I got that same sort of feeling in chapter 6 here with a certain combat that we get to see. It's very quick, very brief, very visceral, and something that will probably stick with me as I continue to read this book, just in the back of my mind, which I don't know if you can have a better praise for a situation or a scene in a book. But that for me was something that stuck with me, and it wasn't even in my favorite character's POV. I am so happy to have a POV for my favorite character that we got introduced to in The Way of Edan, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. And we're already starting to see perception of said character and how he looks at himself, and the contrast between those two things. And I love when that's done well, and it is done very well here so far. And that is just literally the beginning characterization of our boy here, and I'm loving it so far. So that was that. That is what I'm currently reading. I am going to be getting back to this, and we have to say congratulations to Abel Montero for 2 days ago. The Crimson, I guess it would be 3 days ago for you guys seeing this. The Crimson Fire released, and I finally got that beautiful hardcover. I mean, just check that puppy out. I am so excited for Abel. He has helped me so much, and also the story. So far from what I've read, it's been a few weeks. I'm going back to this. Is actually it's so well written, and it's beautiful, and I can't wait to see how the rest of this dark story turns out. And I intend on going back to this. Maybe I'm going to try and get a chapter a day. I've spent this last week reading a bit more. I'll get into it more in my writing update. But yeah, we have the Crimson Fire, and that was a part of my book haul. We also picked up the winner of the Spiff Box blog off, the self-published fantasy blog off 10 by Mark Lawrence. We got By Blood, by Salt, by J.L. Odom. And first of all, congratulations to her for winning the competition. And I believe it was a tie with Mushroom Blues by Adrian Gibson. And there was just more, By Blood, by Salt was just, I think, 2 more people rated it as their highest rated book, and that was the tiebreaker. But so congratulations to both of those authors. But I picked up By Blood, by Salt. It's been on my TBR for quite a while, and I haven't bought it yet. And so I decided to pick it up as kind of like a celebration for Dale and this incredible accomplishment. I cannot wait to read it. Phillips, obviously, his praise of it has me even more excited to read it. Tori, I think Tori from Tori Talks initially put this on my radar, I think a few months ago, and it has been something that I have been looking forward to reading, and I'm glad I picked it up. And it seems like something, I mean, it seems like something reasonable for me to fit in. And it's in that same breath, we got Anna Smith Spark, A Sword of Bronze and Ashes. This is one that Philip put on my radar recently. And same thing, like this is one that I intend to read. This is going to be my first exposure to Anna Smith Spark. I believe she has like another 1 or 2 series. And she's been at this for a little bit. And I'm actually really excited to get The Making of This World Ruined. Book 1 is the name of the series. And I'm actually really excited to get into this because holy wow. Yeah, there's just so much there between those last 3 books in the haul. And then I got my broken binding editions of P.L. Stewart's Drowned Kingdom Saga. We have book 1, A Drowned Kingdom. And I mean, these are just beautiful editions. Are they not? Right? I mean, come on. They're absolutely fantastic. And PL, I know we've not chatted, but in comments and tweets and things in Instagram, we've crossed paths. And everything I hear about PL is, first of all, that this story is amazing and that he's an incredible person. And I cannot wait to read this series. This has been on my TBR for quite a while, and I'll put that there. And then we have The Last of the Atlanteans. And wow, I mean, red's my favorite. So this was an easy pickup for me. I see red. I pull the trigger and I buy. I have a problem. Man, I love the logos on the side too. I mean, these are just beautiful books. So yeah, that was the end of my mini book haul. I'm going to get into my writing update now, guys. So if you're here just for the reading, thank you so much for coming to hang out. We did it like we normally used to do it. And I'm happy we did because I kind of miss doing our updates that way. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to get into my writing updates now. Go ahead, leave a like, subscribe. Tell me what you're reading right now. And if you know the name of the arc I'm currently in with Berserk, I would like to know that as well. All right, guys. Writing. So yeah, as I said earlier, I took the I believe I finished book 2's edits on Monday. And then I decided to take the last few days, finish A Fool's Hope, and then dive a little bit more into The Prophet of Edan. I sent off book 2 to 3 of the 5 alpha readers who are going to be reading it up to June 5th. I still have, I have 3 more to send to. So I guess I sent it to 3 of 6. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to them getting their hands on book 2 because there's just so much in there after having finished it. I'm just very excited to see what the feedback is, good and bad. Like I know that it's a pretty raw, it's a second run through. So I imagine that there's going to be some elements that don't click with my readers, which is why I chose them to help me decipher, what needs a little bit more attention. What could we find? What could we discover if we look here, and that sort of thing. Like things that I just like. If you're looking at it yourself, you're just unable to see. So just to give you a little glimpse into my process, how that's worked. Now, I didn't start book 3 quite yet. I got my final proofread back from my final proofreader, Annette. So we have the final draft of book 1 ready to go, technically, by Annette, and I just have to go through. Again, I haven't touched my computer in that regard. Recently, I've just been setting out arcs. And if you're interested in arcs, by the way, you can go to my website below, or I have the form, I think, in the links below as well. You can directly sign up there, and I will send you an arc. I check it every day to see if there's any responses, and I send out the kind of newsletter style arc link for you guys to download the arc. And so far, the feedback has been good. And then the NetGalley stuff, you kind of reach out to readers outside of your circle, and I'm getting some average reviews there, which is fine. There's some some compliments, and then some backhanded compliments. It's an interesting experience. I texted Zach Richey, I don't know if calling him Zach's actually okay. I should probably, maybe you comment on this, Zachary, and let me know. Yeah, shot him a text, and I was like, hey man, like, I don't know, is something wrong with me? Like, he just reassured me, like, you're good. In general, just that feeling of, it's important. You can't let that stuff, in terms of reviews coming in, kind of take you out of it, take you out of the moment, the beauty of something, sharing something with somebody, and also just the gratitude I'm filled with people for picking it up at all and spending time with it at all. It's incredible. It really is. And whatever people's experiences with my story, it is their experience. And there's nothing I desire to do to change that. And I'm just excited to be hearing people's thoughts. And of course, as I go, my intention is to become a better writer. And so seeing some feedback with book one, it's probably going to help make book two a little bit better in some ways. There's not, maybe not directly, but indirectly. But yeah, that went out. So my writing update, my physical writing update, which I post on my Patreon and I send out on my newsletter on my website. If you're just watching this for the first time, my newsletter, I send out a short story on my newsletter the very first time you sign up, and then the first chapter plus the prologue of book one, Tears of the Fallen. So if you're interested in at all, if you want to see if it's something that's your speed before you sign up for the arc, you can check that there. But my writing update that I will be putting out, the one that I type up every Thursday, that it goes out Friday, usually Thursday for the newsletter folks. That will be probably a little weirder this time. It's usually a little bit more reflective when I have those conversations. So I tend to be a little bit more long-winded in the discussion. Essentially, I'm trying to have there, because it's easier for me to sit there and type it out for you guys, and in a more conversational form. Whereas here is kind of just like, not venting, but going off of just the experience I've had in the last week, every week. And yeah, book two, like putting it down and just being able to take a step back, already knowing where I want book three to go and where I want this story and this world to go. It's very exciting for me. And and just hearing the feedback of the immense world building, the steep learning curve that my book does have, I think because it is so alien, the world I've created, which I think is a good thing. I think for me, that's what I love in the story. I love being dropped, which is Elden Ring very much so. The influence in Malazan is just like being dropped into the middle of the mud and then being sent off, like, okay, go figure it out. Like, I love that feeling for when I get put into a story and like kind of uncovering the layers and the appropriation between the first part and the second part of the book, or the third part of the book. It just, that like slow peeling back of the onion, and then maybe like a blurt of like, all right, wow, this is kind of the world we're in. I don't know. I love that feeling, and I love it on a micro level, chapter to chapter, and I love it on a macro level. I love it by the book level. So yeah, that's just a little insight into my brain and how it has worked. If that sounds interesting to you, cool. Comment below on like what your favorite kinds of stories are. If there's some unique storytellers out there, or big or small, that kind of construct stories in unique ways. Not to say that mine is super unique. Every story has been told, but it's a matter of how it's told. I think that is what makes things important or unique in that way. But yeah, I am still waiting on the physical copies from Ingram Spark. I have 72 copies coming. I think more than half of which I'm mailing out to I already reached out to a bunch of people. They know who they are. They're getting them. And then 10 of those copies will be available starting next week in a giveaway that I'm going to be conducting. And then there's a select group of other booktubers that I'm going to give additional copies to run giveaways of their own on their channels. So if you want a physical arc of Mercy Tears of the Fallen, you have an opportunity to get that. In multiple ways. There's going to be 10 through me, and there's going to be 1 or 2 through several different booktubers out there and bloggers. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to people getting their hands on the physical book. That was such an experience for me, because I got that Sunday, and I completely forgot to mention that here. So I'm going to mention that really briefly, and then we're going to end the video. I picked up the first physical proof of my book. And now John over at Talking Story, he there's like a reading on an iPad situation he has, and that just makes it very hard. And I know I needed, he's going to be reading my book this month. And so I wanted to make sure he had a physical copy as soon as possible. So I took that very first proof copy after holding it silently in my hand for 15 minutes and just like staring at it. I wrote a note in it and closed it up, put it in our red packaging, and mailed it off to John, and which I'm very excited to have done. And I am very grateful that he's decided to pick up my book at all. And I cannot wait to hear his thoughts, let alone on the physical copy itself, but also the story as a whole. But that's where we're going to cut it, guys. I'm grateful you guys come and hang out with me every week. These endings of these videos really recently has been super awkward. So I decided that maybe we're not going to do that today. The ducks are gone. They're not on the roof anymore. But yeah, I didn't want to make it weird between you and me. Not at the end. Walked out of the room today. You guys saw my butt when I picked up a book over here. That's not weird. So, yeah, not going to make it weird today. All right. I mean, I guess if you hung out this long, you can comment below. But I'm not going to do the top of the minute thing. That's 45 seconds. That's insane. I got to go. So stop holding me here. Please. Let me go. We're good? All right. Check out my links in the description. Leave a like, comment. I don't want this to be like a weird ASMR thing, but subscribe. Just do all those things. And I'll see you guys next week.